Hello, everybody. I'm here with Teri from Holding Your Space. Welcome, Teri.
Thank you. Hi, Kim. Hi, everybody. Good to be here.
I hope you're doing great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day here. It's like in the 60s and the sun is
shining. Nice.
Everything's golden, the leaves, and it's still a little bit green. So
nice. And I forget what state you're in. What state are you in?
Missouri. I'm right in the center in Kansas City.
Nice.
So yeah.
Great. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I want to let people know that we're going to be doing, just like when I'm by myself, we're going to be doing some spiritual questions. So if you have them, please feel free to put them up, things you're curious about, wanting to know. And they can be personal. Usually if they're personal questions, I'll sort of make it more communal so everybody kind of benefits from your question. But if you have a question, you can ask. So I did want to get your view on a couple of things, Teri, before we start, and it'll give people time to think about their questions, what they want to talk about. Okay. But I wanted to ask you about the current energies we're dealing with and living with, and especially as a reader, because you kind of have to open yourself up in a different way. So what have you felt? What have you been getting as far as energy wise, and how has it affected you, and how have you dealt with it?
Oh, okay. Well, for the whole community, I feel like we're letting go of a lot of stuff. And that's been all year with the year of the snake, but particularly this past month has just been a lot of really looking at things, and it feels like the old constructs of what we were supposed to be or feel shame for, or try to keep up with everybody else, or even pushing ahead a narrative like, oh, I want to grow my channel, or oh, I want to get a new car. I want to do this, or I want to do that, kind of changing our what we want in life. Mm-hmm. So that's been a big change for me in particular. I looked at my channel and what I was doing, and I love my channel. I love my tribe there, the meditation tribe and everybody, but I took a step back, and part of that, Kim, was you took a step back.
Oh, okay.
No, really.
And the readers disappear.
and I had to look at it, but I brought forward new things that I hadn't done before that I was interested in. Oh, and Annie Bear took over 3 days a week leading meditations, and she's amazing. So it feels like we're kind of looking at things a little bit differently.
And that's so interesting, because I think that when we have those impulses to step back or do something differently or change something, we think it's just about us. But clearly it was not just about you. It was about bringing someone else in who could also share their gifts and their abilities and what they could do well, right?
Yeah, it was huge. And it was also control. Like we really try hard, especially as empaths, because we want to take care of everybody. And anybody that here is probably an empath and intuitive. And so being that way, we want to make sure that everybody's okay. And you can't unless you're okay, number one. So I really got into self-care again, like going to yoga 3 times a week, walking more, and just trying to look into care for myself. And also that changed the way that I reacted to my family in a much healthier way.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. The second thing I want to ask you about is this weird side effect that has happened for me since doing, I did a video on doing shadow work and doing inner work.
Yeah.
And a weird side effect of that I didn't expect. And I just wanted to share it with you. I want to share it with everybody. I want to share it with you. And I just want to get your, just your reaction to it. I want to see what you say. It's really weird because since doing that work, it's almost as if, because when you do, particularly when you do shadow work, you work on like things that trigger you and why it triggers you and that kind of thing. And so have that reactivity or those triggers anymore in the same way. But what has happened is that it's almost as if I can see, particularly when I watch the news, that's where I see the biggest difference, is when I'm watching something that is like the news or something on YouTube, wherever. It's almost as if I can see that it's not real. It's almost like I'm taking a step back and I'm like, oh yeah, and also information comes in much more just naturally. Like I don't have to leave and do meditation and get a thing and all that stuff, or even like scribble. It's just like it just was there. But it's almost as if I can see that, oh, this is just a play. Oh, this isn't real. Oh yeah, this is not. It's weird. And I asked my guides for an analogy for other people and for myself to understand this better. And they said, I thought they do really well with analogies because that's how I learn. And so they're like, okay, let's break it down, make it simple. But they gave the analogy of when a child goes through like a carnival haunted house versus an adult. When a child goes through a carnival haunted house, they're like, everything is shocking and scary and frightening, and they completely buy into the experience, and they just think, is this reality now? What is happening, and why, and everything is shocking and scary and everything. They completely buy in. When you go through as an adult, you're like, oh, there's the strings for the spider, and that I can see that person back there, and the lighting is really cool, but and oh, that's clearly fake, and that's what's happened. It's like I can see things as though it's like it's like it's not real. And there are points I buy in, that I'll like go into my old mode and buy in. But a really good example recently was when our president and Putin came up with this plan that for Ukraine, they need to surrender by Thanksgiving, blah, blah, blah. And as I saw that, prior to this work, I know I would have been like, oh, geez, oh, God, what's going on? Why are they doing this now? But what happened was I was like, oh, this is to show everybody. It's kind of to show everybody who Trump and Putin really are. It's more about them. Of course, Ukraine's not going to do anything. Europe's going to come in. Everything's going to be fine. The U.S. probably won't even withdraw their support. And that's what's happening. And it was just there. It was just like, that's what's happening here. And it's like, it was like the stage play. It was like, oh, I know this part. This is this, and this is this, and this is what it's teaching us. But I wonder what you have to say about that. And if you had that experience, and I guess what surprised me was that it was inner work that gave me that clarity. It wasn't like, working on, my I don't know, some sort of outer work where it's kind of like perception or something like that, where you're working on seeing things differently and that kind of thing. It was more, I just did this inner work with not even thinking about that. And it's just a side effect. So yeah, what is that?
It's a huge shift change, I think, for everybody. This, I think for everybody, well, some of us go through it in stages, right? So that we're not all doing it at the same time, I believe, number one. Number two, I call that witnessing awareness, where we're watching things happen and we're not really buying into it. Like we can go through all our emotions, certainly we should, but at the same time, we're watching ourselves go through our emotions. And we're like, oh, that's interesting. Where do you feel that? And kind of going into your senses. Okay, so this is not a long dream, but I'm going to tell you about my dream last night.
Yeah.
It was scary. And it was like, I was in the mountains and the waters were rising. And I was at a space where the waters were coming up even to the ground that I was on in the mountains. And I looked in the water and it had been really murky. And then all of a sudden, I saw a body inside it with this beautiful glowing gown that they had on. It was a woman. And then I looked again, and I looked inside the water, and I saw all sorts of bodies with beautiful gowns, each one a different color. And the more I looked at them, they started moving and dancing in the water. And I'm like, oh, this is a dream, and you guys are amazing. And this is, so not what I thought it was. And so that fear changed completely. But, and I really feel like we're coming into our sovereignty, where we feel like we have the power. Nobody's going to take our power. And before that probably looked like we were going to go out and get really angry. And now our power is that witnessing awareness.
Right. Yeah, it totally does. It totally does. And it's not that I won't like respond in a way that's appropriate for the circumstance. Like I'll still call my representatives and I'll still go to marches and but it's just through a different prism in a way.
Yeah, 100%. It's like you're a walking Ho'oponopono, right? Like you're seeing things happen, and at the same time, you're not getting attached to the outcome, or to that other individual. Because when we attach our fears and our hate or anything to that other individual, be it the person who's supposed to be the president or right. whoever else, we're really giving them power. And our sovereignty calls for us, I believe, and you guys might have a different perception about this, but I believe that our sovereignty calls for us to just be in charge of our hearts and our awareness. And that's a full-time job.
It is. And it is ultimately that's the responsibility we have, right? Because everybody has their free will and their choice and it's the age-old thing of like trying to save somebody. You cannot save someone who doesn't want to save themselves. You can't do it because they're not there yet, and they ultimately have control over their journey, even if they're out of control, right? They have that choice to make.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, funnily enough, it's a hard word to say. But I feel like when we go into that moment of being sovereign and really taking care of our heart space, that means that we have more light for others and we can help each other much more. So really, service to ourselves is so much more service to others than just giving everything away all the time.
Right. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's spot on, I feel. So Gina says it's the clearing of energy that has held you back. Yeah. Your growth skyrockets after healing, accepting, and integrating the shadow.
Yeah, Gina, amazing. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, perfectly.
I spent a half hour saying that, Gina. Thank you.
And then, so I mean, that's the thing, right? When we do this, and I know, especially with this show, I feel it in the club as well, but definitely the show that. People that are watching they're intuitives, they're empath, they know exactly, whether they know that they know, they do. They're all in this group. They're definitely probably empathic, like you said, but definitely intuitive. So, and then Sandra in Connecticut says, Kim, it's growth. With growth, there is detachment. With detachment, there is more clarity. You're seeing with more clarity. Yeah. Okay. And I guess it was just surprising to me because when I've done spiritual work, I guess that's the thing, is that shadow work is supposed to be more kind of psychological and emotional. And I guess I was surprised at how spiritual it actually is. I wasn't expecting that component, I guess. And everything is connected, but I guess I just wasn't expecting that type of side effect from this type of work.
I think we're looking at it in a different manner now, Kim. For me, I am than I used to. I used to do a lot of healing over it and energy work and things like that. And now I'm seeing all we have to do is witness it. And like Sandra's saying, the detachment comes in the growth, the clarity.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. So are you ready to do some questions?
Yes, ma'am.
And I just want to let everybody know that the information for Teri's website for her channel is in the description below. So you can go right over to her channel if you're not subscribed yet, and subscribe. And we'll talk a little bit at the end, Teri, with what's going on with your channel and what's happening there.
Thank you.
And services you offer and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Sorry, just looking for the.
No, you're good. I'm running down names that Gina's putting out.
Okay. This is what I do every Sunday. It's like it's just like radio silence while I look for the next question. Okay, so Annie Bear asks, I've heard and felt a tone go through my throat chakra today while walking outdoors. Is this a clear upgrade we may all be going through? So let me. So I already feel, Annie Bear, that it could be a clear upgrade for sure, because I feel like, once again, anytime we kind of realize things, or I feel like it has to do with communicating with people around you, talking more and communicating, and sort of maybe even talking about spirituality, or talking about who you are now, or what you feel, or what you think, and not feeling afraid to do that, or like you can't, or it's something. To me, it feels something about that. But I also think that with that kind of awareness comes, that's an upgrade. That is an upgrade, because it usually will affect in some way the way that you receive and internalize information from spirit as well. But what do you get, Teri?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I feel, Annie, like you're kind of going to be speaking from the heart, without judging your heart. Like, how sometimes when we speak, we hear ourselves and we really watch it. But yours is going to start moving on up, as they say, and speaking directly from the heart space, which makes a lot of sense.
I think that's a great way to put it, because when you talk about things that are very near and dear to you, that are even sacred to you, there is a type of exposure. You really are putting your heart on your sleeve, because you do feel exposed and vulnerable and that kind of thing. I think that's especially right now, I think it's a hard bridge for people to cross, because everyone feels a little guarded and a little bit like, oh, what's happening and who's listening and what are and I think that so it really does take a lot of courage to do that right now.
Yeah, and it's been us and them, right? Yeah. Probably all our lives in some respect or another, and now it's just us, and that's different. But yeah, you know who you are now.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I've had days like that. So Jewel Hoverock, the energy these past few days has been exhausting. I've been wiped out and sleeping a lot. And I think one of the biggest takeaways about when the energies hit you like that is to just do what you feel it's telling you to do. If you can, sometimes you have to go to work and you have to, you've got to take care of the kids or whatever. But if you can, and you feel like, I can't get out of bed right now, I'm just, listen to that. It's telling you, you're adjusting or you need to adjust. And sometimes it just takes a little while, it might be like an extra hour in bed. And then you feel like, okay, I feel like something's lifting. I feel better. Also releasing anything as well that you feel you might be holding on to, fear, any of those heavier things that you're feeling, fear, shame, anger, those heavier energies, release it inside from yourself. If you feel like you might be holding on to stuff or you might be, then that lessens the effect, because it's really that like draws in like, so that there any hate or any anger in you is tends to draw it in. From when it's there, it'll kind of be drawn to you. And so if you can release that, it sort of breaks up that connection and sort of sets you free. Does that make sense, Teri? Am I making sense?
Oh my gosh, yeah, so much. It's like all this energy is coming at us, and I think a new timeline for the planet and for everybody here, and the density is more light, and so that's exhausting, number one. But then when we surrender and let go, like you were saying, Kim, that's a huge upgrade, and that takes a lot out of you too. So yeah, really going into curiosity too, like how do I feel? Like you were saying, do I feel like I want to go to work, or do I want to go out tonight, or do I want to stay in and get carry out?
Right. Yeah, because it can be calling you really to go inside and be like, what do I need? Why is this like what can I do that will help this to kind of lessen or loosen? And there's usually something you can do. And it's usually the first thing you think of. I need to take a day off. I need to get outside today. I need to go take a walk. I haven't been to see this one friend that always makes me laugh, and I'll go see them. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That curiosity. And that's a huge one.
Yeah. Contrary Mary, and which I love that name. And it's so funny because I call my husband Contrary Carrie, because he's and he's been called that his whole life. He's always like the opposite. If everybody wants to go out and see this one movie, he'll be like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to get, like, he'll never jump on the bandwagon. But Contrary Mary, I talked to my partner who's passed probably way too much. Can we drive those in spirit crazy? And I'm sorry for your loss, Mary, but I'm glad you're connecting. I think that's great. And it's funny, and Teri, you can speak to this because you've had your partner that is on the other side, and you communicate. And I feel like because they do have this longer scope, like they know, like they can see your arcs, they can see like where you're going, and you're going to be okay. I feel like you may feel like, I've got this connection now, I'm never going to let go, I'm never going to stop talking to them, but they can see that as you grow and you kind of move on to things that you will let go. You will start to lessen and so they're not, I feel like they're never worried about it. I feel like they can always see like, this is just a thing you're going through right now. And this is just, fun for you. And you need it a lot right now. But later down the road, I can see that you won't necessarily. You'll be checking in every so often, and it will feel more natural to do that. But what has been your journey with that, Teri?
Yeah. Well, it's a hard one, Contrary Mary, because we're so tribal, and, we have labels of ourselves in that tribe and our little tribes. And mine was being a wife. And when you take away that label and somebody that you love, it's a huge jump. And he's in my dreams still all the time. He was in last night with the waters coming in, but less and less so. And our relationship has changed. That sounds odd, but also you can't drive them crazy because they don't have judgment over there. Like it's not like a 3D where we're judging everything, and no, but I can tell you right now, he loves it.
Yeah,
or they love it.
I feel that too, and I feel like they're, it's not as if they're hiding from us. They want to let you know everything's fine. You're fine. I'm fine. We're fine. We'll be together again. Don't worry about it. So you can go on and do your journey. Don't go on and do your stuff and do it really, really well.
Yeah, you have a support system on the other side. That's a strength right there. Huge strength.
That's great. So truth always wins. I just wanted to ask about tinier life forms, specifically bugs in the house. What does Spirit say? Usually I put individuals outside on en masse. I put individual bugs outside, but en masse I spray. And I feel like there's guilt about that. I do the same thing, Truth. If it's ants, I'm so sorry. And I love ants. I love their community and how you can see them carrying little stuff. I mean, they're so cute, but as a mass, it's like, it's not, I can't just let the house be overrun by ants, so I do the same thing. But yet spiders or an individual ant, I will like put it on a little like thing, like take it outside. What do you say about that though, Teri?
Yeah, 100%, man. If it's ants or something worse, they got to get out. But I do the same. I carry around a little envelope with something. We almost had an accident because there was a what are they called? The walking stick people. I can't remember the name of them. Anyway, but what is it?
What is that? What did you say? The walking,
like a walking stick or something. Anyway, they were on my windshield, and I was like, "Oh my God, I got to take care of them." I pulled over, brought them off my windshield. It took like 15 minutes, but because they kept running away from me. But yeah, and I think it's intention, don't you, Kim?
I was just going to say the same thing, Teri. I think it's intention. And, you're not finding joy in spraying. If you're sitting there and saying, I'm so sorry, like me, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I think you're great, but you got to go. And, I do. I think it's that intention of, what your intention is. If you take joy out of killing things and you think it's funny or you think it's whatever, that's a whole different intention. That's a whole different way of being.
Yeah.
But I think just the intention that you don't want to kill anything and that you're aware of what you're doing and that you're as a person living in a house, trying to keep it clean and trying to keep things, you have to, do these things, but it's not as though you love it,
Yeah, it's hard. It was a praying mantis. Thanks, everybody. I need
praying mantis. Okay, there you go. Okay, are we so somebody says we're both cutting out bad, but I'm not getting that. It might be on your end.
Yeah,
I'm not getting that. So if anybody can make sure that we're both being heard, but I don't see any like sticking or anything like that. So I'm not, it's weird because I got a part 2 of a question, but I can't. Oh. Okay, so let me see what this is. Is E hiding something, playing mind games, or is this just ego and insecurity that keeps him mysterious or keeps him away? What are you picking up? So so the second part of this is down here. So maybe it'll give us clarity on the question. So 1 second, because I'm not fully clear on the question. So this sounds like it's a person in their life. Is E hiding something from me, or is he just acting weird because he's insecure? So this must be, and just sabotaging things here. So, and maybe we can look at this on an individual, but also it may give us all understanding as to, what could be going on with people when they're acting weird or unusual or not like themselves.
They're kind of showing me like a circle that keeps going around and around, like a tunnel or something, or like maybe you are going down a bit of a wormhole, but it does feel like there's something there. Do you feel something there that he's not showing you?
I feel like this person is a bit kind of, I would say, I mean, as a whole, I don't want to sum them up this way, but I just feel like as a whole, kind of emotionally immature, like doesn't love confrontation, doesn't really like to talk about inner feelings, not really in touch really with their emotions enough to really be expressive and share and that kind of thing that you do when you're more, comfortable and sort of mature emotionally. It's not that hard, but I feel like there's a kind of an immaturity there that so if it's a he or she or whoever this is might always seem a little distant because they're not really able to share in a way that someone is more and I feel like you are more emotionally mature, and so even when you can go down a rabbit hole, sometimes it's like you're still trying to figure out and trying to understand. Or someone who's less like that, they might just walk away or put it out of their mind or not think, or cut it off or whatever. It's not you don't what is it? You don't internalize things the same way, particularly when it comes to emotions. There's a word though I'm trying to figure out.
Don't not comprehend, but I want to say he doesn't have the maturity that you have.
Yeah.
And your feelings and your emotions. It's like he's more sheltered or something, or was more sheltered. Is he just getting out of a or are they just getting out of a long-term relationship?
Oh, it could be.
Yeah.
Overanalyze. That's what it is. That you'll tend to kind of overanalyze, and people that aren't there yet, they won't analyze at all. They'll just kind of be like, they don't want to go there. Basically, they don't want to go there.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of my old boyfriends 40 years ago.
Yeah, but I say it's emotional maturity. I think that's kind of where we're landing here. Okay, so let me go to the next question. Okay, so yeah, she talks. I say she. I don't know. Talks about. I feel very connected to this guy in the 5D, but in the 3D, he is not acting. Yeah, it's that maturity. That it's that emotional maturity, being self-aware. Aware of your own emotions, how you deal with things, what you need to work on. It's not there yet.
Yeah, that's a fine dance, isn't it? And sometimes you can talk to people clearly, being clear spoken, which isn't always easy in a new relationship. But this is what I like, and this is what I see.
Mm-hmm.
See, and they might just say, "Oh, okay." So who knows?
Exactly. So thanks for that question, though. That was really interesting. And I'm sure one that a lot of people, I can relate to it. I'm sure, and Teri can, and I think everybody can. So recently I had a Claircognizance download out of nowhere that immediately came true. How can I develop this? I had a dream about a mouse, then a mouse ran across my foot, and then the next day. And yeah, what do you say about that, Teri?
I think it feels like she's connected to the earth, but also the elementals. Like I can just see that energy around you, Nadine. So that's huge. And that's a different kind of Claire. That's like a more subtle Claire, being connected to that kind of energy. But yeah, you can ask for it to grow, and you don't have to ask them. You can just ask your higher self or your heart space, and become more aware of it.
Yeah. And with claircognizance too, Nadine, the biggest thing is trust.
Yeah.
Trust. And the thing is, which is the unfair part for people that have natural claircognizance, is that they're usually very analytical types. And so they need confirmation. And so if you want to speed this up, let go of that. Let go of needing proof. Let go of needing, just start trusting what you're getting. Just start trusting it. And you'll start getting proof. It will start to come, but that trust needs to be there. And it's key for claircognizance, and yet it's unfair because usually they are the types that need confirmation, need proof. Like if they use a pendulum, a claircognizant person would be, okay, well, let me just make sure. Let me just do it again. Let me just make sure that it's a yes. Let me just make sure again. They need that like constant, and if you can let go of that need for validation, and just trust, you'll start to get all kinds of confirmation and validation from the outside coming to you to let you know you're doing it. But you have to sort of get out of your own way in that when it comes to claircognizance.
Yeah, right. Using your imagination a lot. It starts out more as imagination, and then and then you kind of get into the groove, and you can tell for me, I can tell which part of the energy comes from where. Like, do you feel things like that? Like you feel a different space for mediumship and a different space from knowing, different space from guides or something?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't think I'm as aware of it maybe, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always ask for things, Nadine, like rockstar parking. And if I'm going into like a thrift store or at a garage sale or something, which I like to do, I always ask for, a gift. Find me a gift, something special.
Yeah. And I think it's so important, like to keep those, knowing that you can just use your sort of move into using it as a spiritual practice to find like parking and to do, just things in your daily life that they don't get mad at us or think, why are you doing that? You're wasting your connection on a parking space. It's not like that. It's more that you've moved it into, let's practice this and just see. What I would also say is that keep that trust though, even if like you don't find a parking space at the very front, keep that trust that there's a reason why. That's okay. I asked for a parking space front, but for some reason I'm way back here. Let's figure out, let's see why. Don't lose the trust just because it didn't go exactly as you were asking or exactly as you were seeing. Keep that trust there, because that's key. That's key, is just trusting that, okay, but it didn't happen this way, but there's a reason why. I know there's a reason why, because I trust my guides, right? Right, Teri? Is that
100%? Like one time I'm leaving a parking lot and I'm like, okay, you guys, because this road, I always ask for help making a left turn on. So I'm getting out of this parking lot for groceries. And I was like, okay, I need help. And I could not get out of there for forever. Well, then I get out and there's just been an accident. And so we just don't know. but
No.
yeah.
And here's a funny one. So I was exactly that, in a parking lot, thinking, okay, find gold. And I love golden parking. So I'm like, find me golden parking. And I every space that I came to, someone would pull out, but somebody else would be there, or they'd already be waiting for that spot. And I'm just like, oh, this is ridiculous. So I went way out, parked way out, and I start walking up to the store. And my dad always leaves us dimes. That's his calling card. And as I walked up, I found a dime. So had I been way up in the other parking lot, I wouldn't have been on that walking trail. I wouldn't have found it. So you may not know too who may be overriding your, like, excuse me, but I've got something more important to do. So guides, take a seat, or let me, interject here. I want to, there's a dime at the end of the parking lot that I wanted to find. So also trust that too, that there may be something else going on with loved ones, with angels, with, that your guides are not the only people in your spirit team, they're a part of it, but there may be other things going on as well.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah. I love that. Dimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my husband comes with little pieces of fabric and black fabric. Like we have nothing in our house with black fabric except for clothing, but there's always little pieces. Fewer now, but used to be everywhere.
How interesting. And why did he choose black fabric? Do you know what the meaning is behind that?
I have no clue. He was a nut, so.
It could be just what they found easiest, because I always think, dimes are probably the lightest coin, and so I thought, I wonder if it's just the weight of it was just easier to kind of work with, navigate, whatever. Yeah. That
makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Anne. We found my sister Andrea deceased in her home today. Did she die peacefully, and did my deceased mom come for her? Oh, I'm so sorry. And so quick, so recent, so, and so, and I'm seeing my my grandmother on my dad's side passed away actually in my room, in our home. And when I was I think it was about 12, something like that, she was sleeping in my room. And I've since then, because I've gone back to that as I've developed my abilities, asking kind of what happened. But her breathing and heart just stopped in the middle of the night. This is what they had told us then. But what I saw in my mind's eye was she just got up, she was getting, she thought she just woke up. She just thought she woke up and she's getting up, and then there's people there. There's people that she recognizes, because I even feel like there's a bunch of people, not just one person was there to greet her. I'm getting chills with that. It was a bunch of people. It's just so she's woke up and there's just all these people there. And she's like, oh my gosh, what in the world? So for her, it did not even feel like I'm dying, I'm letting go. It was just I got up and all these people were there. So peaceful. Yeah, I would say really, really peaceful, but also just very matter of, almost natural, matter of fact. It didn't feel different to her. It was just I woke up and here's all these people. So that's what I got. And so what did you get, Teri?
I get the same, that really there was a group around her. There were flowers there. There was a welcome home party, because some people feel like that side is home less than this side. So she was welcome with a big group. also somebody there with a K name or a C name that sounds like a K, but it was there as well. So I don't know if that was an animal or a friend or a grandmother, but somebody was there that was really special. She's pointing out her throat and her heart, but she's saying it was completely painless.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. It was just like, you breathe in and then you walk out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So yeah, we're so sorry for your loss though. But hopefully that will help you to at least have a picture that's pleasant and nice about her passing, and not, I also feel like it was definitely her choice, her soul's choice to go that way, to just sort of leave, not have a big show about it, not have, everyone at her bedside, and not have a long drawn out illness, it was her choice to sort of just go. And we choose if we want, our whole family there, or if we want to go by ourselves. When you hear stories all the time about people, everybody's there, and as soon as everybody leaves the room, they leave. Right. And then they're like, oh, we weren't there. We went there. That it was their choice. It's how they wanted to go. Right.
Yeah. And she was also pointing out that she took her blanket with her. Like she was warm. She just wanted to know that she was very comfortable. So that was interesting how she showed me that. But,
so interesting. That's fascinating.
Never had them do that before. We're so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully that will help to give you some other visuals besides just what we feel when people pass. So hopefully that will give you some comfort.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move to a ghosty question. A room in our house has always felt haunted. My mom passed at home in March. For many months after that, room didn't feel haunted anymore. Did she take lost souls with her to the other side? That's an interesting one.
This is really interesting. Curious, I see her with a broom, like kind of sweeping that room out. When she left, she's taking care of her people still.
Yeah, it's funny that you use the analogy of a broom, because I see it more as energy than entities. It's almost like it's just like energy that was there, and not so much like people or ghosts or spirits or entities, more just like, energy that was just very, to me, clearly just needed to be moved on or moved through. It's like clearing the space out. So that's a great analogy, I think, is a broom.
Yeah. Sometimes like we get energy stuck in our body somewhere, and I feel like sometimes houses and land gets energy stuck too, imprints. So yeah. And she's kind of bossy about it. Curious.
What's going on here? This is yuck. Let's get this out of here.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Let's do one more. And this is a dream.
Oh.
Rose. I dreamed a tsunami came, and I said, oh, this is it. I took my last breath and waited under my blanket. Then I opened one eye and realized the wall of clear water was standing outside my window. What does it mean? What it means. She wrote it. What does it mean? I opened one eye and realized the wall of clear water was standing outside my window.
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, go ahead if you want to go.
No, you go ahead.
So I don't feel like, if you're scared like this is a prophetic dream, I don't feel like it's that. I feel like it has to do with a couple of things. I feel like it has to do with perception, like seeing things differently, like seeing things as you think they are, and then actually seeing things as they really are. So this could have to do with people in your life, like seeing, maybe you see somebody as really, kind of, I don't know, obnoxious or loud, but in reality, they're kind of a truth teller. They're actually telling the truth or whatever. But seeing things, so it could be people or just situations in your life or yourself. I also feel like there's something to do with claiming or working on your emotions. So I feel like the water kind of represents emotional states or emotions, and sort of getting clarity on your emotions and how they're expressed, something like that. So what do you get, Teri, with that?
Yeah, I agree. We're like at a really overwhelming point on the earth right now. So a tsunami and emotions is huge right now for a lot of people. And I had that in my dream last night too, all that water coming in. So really looking at things differently. But then you kind of weathered the storm, Rosemary. It was perfect because you just opened one eye, so you were aware, and then you were able to watch things from your window. So it was like you were aware that this wave of energy was coming in, and that's just what we were talking about at the beginning, that witnessing awareness and seeing things as they happen, and you were comfortable. Like you could kind of cocoon up and take care of yourself, but still aware of what happened. You could also, somebody else here mentioned Atlantis, and I see that coming again and again. People from Atlantis and Lemuria, and I think a lot of us probably reincarnated from those times, and that are here right now. And so you may have witnessed this in another lifetime as well, but in this lifetime, it's different.
Yeah. And I think as we hit like familiar plot points from like past lives or things, that sometimes it can come through in those more subconscious ways. Like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because that was crazy times too. And this time we're going to get it right, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so too. And thank you, Rosemary, for that little, appreciate that. And then, so yeah, everybody have a great Thanksgiving. That's right. It's Thanksgiving coming up. So Teri, is there anything you want to tell us about your channel coming up, or things you're doing that people might benefit from on their channel, and services that you're offering right now?
Yeah. So first off, I want to thank you. You've sent me a few people for readings, and I really appreciate that. And so I'm also an intuitive reader, and I do mediumship and whatnot, and a Reiki healer as well. So whatever you guys need, if you feel free to call on me. My website is holdingyourspace.com. I had to think about that for a minute. And we do Monday through Friday meditations. Annie Bear does Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I do Tuesday and Thursday on my channel. But I always advertise what Annie has going on. So I do dream interpretation. What else? I have some new classes coming up, but I don't have them listed yet. So I'm just writing them up right now. So, and I think that's all I'm doing right now.
Nice. Well, and be sure to subscribe to Teri's channel. Then you'll get notifications when she puts posts up, or when she, I assume you announce your classes and things like that. So you'll get those notifications.
Yeah.
And it's free. There are so few things in this life that are free anymore. And I just think subscribing is one of them. Why not? It's like, just get that free thing. Why not?
Right. Are you doing your New Earth? Is that back again? Or is that going to be after the first year?
Yeah, I don't have it listed yet. I'm doing a class in that will start in January that is going to be spirit communication through journaling. And so if people want to do that, you just send me an email. And then when I get everything, because I'm like you, I'm still finishing up writing the classes, but as soon as everything's together, I'll send you the all of the information and how to sign up. And so when you send me an email, you'll just get on the list. And then when everything's done, I'll send it to everybody. And then you can decide if you want to take it. But that is what's coming up next. Yeah.
And your classes are really affordable and really good. I went to a lot of your classes, so I've really enjoyed them.
I try, I always feel like I don't want like money to be a barrier for people to grow spiritually. And yet you've got to, I don't know if people know how expensive these, like the different, like StreamYard and like different, systems that you have to keep up. But you've got to like charge something to kind of keep everything going. But I try to make it, I don't want that to be a barrier for anybody to, not grow spiritually or do what they want to do, and have that experience. So, yeah. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, Teri, for hanging out. This has been so much fun.
Thank you so much, Kim. This was a blast.
All right. Everybody take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.